I know it's probably not healthy for Ayano to be in this whole, like, serious, crazy mode, but not gonna lie, it's very refreshing having a ruthless, savage MC compared to what I'm used to, because I've seen so much anime and manga when it comes to sports, to where you always have the goody two-shoes, and don't get me wrong, I love Goody Two-Shoes characters. They're relatable and you can understand, like, you should treat people with dignity and be nice to people and all that. But at the same time, sometimes I feel like the characters are not savage enough, or just not straight up ruthless, because what Ayano is doing is technically how we humans really are. Maybe not that extreme, like there is some certain things about Ayano's character that are a little bit over-exaggerated, but overall, her interactions with her so-called rival, the pink-haired girl, was pretty justified. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, after what she tried to do at the end of last episode, and then what, was reinstated at the beginning of this episode, and then how she treated her fellow members of, badminton and all that, her team members, and then how she treated her seniors, I mean, just the way she acted, she deserved everything that happened to her within this episode, and I'll get into that in a second, but Ayano, she being ruthless and acting like that, that's how we as humans are. I mean, let's just face the facts. Everybody, one point in their life, no matter how good you are, no matter how nice you are, you're going to eventually encounter someone to where you're angry with them. Like, you're really angry, and you're going to want to say something just downright freaking awful. And that is what Ayano's doing. The person she's had an encounter with, this girl with pink hair, was kind of like her rival, but someone that caused a downward spiral for Ayano, and caused it to where she just had to have a big change of personality, character, and have a wake-up call to also give up on her mother. Let's think about it like this, okay? If it wasn't for the girl with pink hair causing Ayano to get sick, just, it's like, oh, you're gonna get sick too and all that, there's a possibility that Ayano's mother would have never have left her, and she would be okay. She wouldn't have been traumatized like she is. So that really is like, it's understandable why Ayano would be so upset, why she would just be so savage or ruthless to her, because technically she's the cause of it all. And I mean, I like how this episode tried to make me feel bad for her. Like, I like how it tried to give us a backstory, showcasing this character that's cheering for her and all that. Like, you can go, you can do it! And then you eventually have the other members of her group that obviously just didn't like her, even in this episode, start to warm up to her as, like, cheering her on. I did not like how this episode tried to make her a little bit more human, or at the very least try to make it to where we feel sorry for her. Now, I do admit that how the pink-haired girl acts, once again, is another expression of how humans are in the first place. We get cocky, we think we're the best, we get arrogant, that's how we are. When you reach the top of, like, the pillar, like the top of the mountain, and you become one of the best, or you beat your rival, you're gonna feel cocky. You're gonna feel like you're better than anyone. And everybody gets like this. Sometimes power, the old saying, power corrupts? That's pretty much the expression here. When people get too strong, or they get too much power, or they feel like they're the best because they're constantly winning, they're going to get arrogant. And that's how she is, how she feels. She feels like she was better than everyone, and we already can see signs of this coming from Ayano in this episode, which I'll save once again for later. But basically, we had a showcasing of how this episode is trying to make her a little bit more human, understand her, but also try to redeem her in a way. And I want to be honest, I don't think she's redeemed at all. I mean, I'm not going to, take from what she has done. For instance, she's obviously put in a lot of hard work to be where she's at, to be able to face Ayano like she did in this episode. It's clear as day that she didn't cheat to get there, from what you could easily assume from making Ayano sick. I mean, when that character introduction happened, and she made Ayano sick, that was the scummiest thing you legit can do in a real match, especially when you're the cause of why most likely Ayano's mother just left her. Like, yeah, that was pretty scummy. And so I think after the first impressions, it was probably off to a bad start, but even then though, I will not take from her from what she has accomplished. She has accomplished a lot by herself to be where she's at, which once again is the reason why she's so arrogant, why she feels like she is the best. And she does have a lot of truth to her as well, as what she says about Ayano in this episode. She does say that Ayano is nowhere near where she once was, which makes perfect sense. I've talked about this in my previous episode reviews. Regardless of how skilled someone is, talented, then yes, you won't kind of lose it completely. I mean, it's like riding a bike. When you have something, especially if it comes to talent. But at the same time, though, if you don't do something for a long period of time, you're going to get a little bit rusty. It's kind of like professionals in sports or games or whatever. If you don't play something for a certain while, you're going to get a little bit rusty. You're not going to be like you once were. You're going to need to put a lot more time and effort to get back to that level you once were at. And that's pretty much what Ayano is doing. She's finally getting back into the groove. She's improving with each match, getting better, and getting back into what she once was, like how good she once was at badminton. And so when she was, looking at her, analyzing, it's like she's not like how she once was, she was speaking the truth. It wasn't her just being arrogant. She was telling the truth that Ayano is just not as good as she was. But she will eventually reach that if she continues to play match after match. Which, once again, probably crushed the pink-haired girl's spirit, because she realized that after all of these years of training, putting in all this effort, she still couldn't beat someone like Ayano that obviously is rusty and couldn't really do much at all. Which, probably will make her think about her first rematch she had with her in, a couple episodes ago when she curb stomped her. She realized that she hasn't played at all. So yeah, she kind of reawoke a beast. Like a beast has been reawakened, and she's feeling a little bit like, holy crap, I kind of stirred the pot a little bit. I probably shouldn't have done that. But okay, so let's talk about Ayano. So Ayano, as I already briefly said about the pink hair girl, she was feeling very arrogant. That's what we see from Ayano as well. She's starting to get a little bit arrogant or not showing compassion for others. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're better than someone, you're better than someone. Just face the facts, okay? Just don't try to be proud, which I guess I shouldn't be the one saying this. I get a little bit proud too when I play games and all that, and I'm defeated. But, sometimes you need to also understand that even if you're the victor, you should show some passion and kindness to others around you, especially the ones that lose to you. You shouldn't just be downright awful to them. And like I said, I understand why she was awful to pink hair girl. She deserved it. I'm not going to say that what Ayano did was necessarily wrong. It was a little bit ruthless, but she had what was coming to her. But if that's really how she thinks about every single person that is defeated and all that, they're not good enough or whatever, she's just acting like her mother at this point. She's just straight up being like what her mother was, and how she's like, oh, when you get as good as me, then you can face me anytime you want. Or, how she's acting is just straight up how all the other female characters that were introduced, how they feel like they have a stick up their butt and they're just so mean and awful. She's going down that path, thinking she's better than everyone else. And so if she's not put in check very soon and having like a major wake-up call, she's going to start losing friends, and she's going to realize that she's just going to be a lonely individual that has nothing. If you have badminton, fine, you can be happy. What's badminton if you don't have anyone to share it with? What's the point of being number one if you have nothing to share it with, or nobody to share it with? I mean, you're by yourself. It's a lonely existence. And that's what Ayano is going to have if she doesn't have a wake-up call and realize she can't just be that cruel to people. Now, I guess let's talk about the other little message going on here with the third years and how their time is basically up. Now, this theme with how usually it's the last match for the third years, this is like a reoccurring theme that happens all the time in sports, manga, and anime. I've seen it time and time again on the limited stuff I have seen. It's a common theme. But even though it's a common theme and I have seen it, it's a cliche, I still get a little bit emotional because of it. Because when you think about how it's like your final year to do a match or get to the inter-high or, professionals, it makes you think like time is just a cruel thing. It never stops. You're always aging, time is always passing, and, you only get a certain amount of chances to do something in life. And with the high school setting, them realizing that if they don't achieve victory, it's over for them, it's pretty sad, because they realize that they never amounted to anything in that time period of high school to be able to get what they wanted. And I always felt like themes like this with the passing of time and how you've ran out of time or whatever, I always thought these themes were one of the saddest things in any type of literature, and it still hits me. It really does. Even though it's a cliche, and I've seen it so many times that, honestly, I should be done with it by now, I still appreciate that cliche. But that's pretty much about it when it comes to this week's episode of Hanebado. Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about, the match that happened. Art animation, by the way, was glorious. Like, holy crap, it looked very impressive. But let me know your thoughts on the match. How do you feel about how this episode tried to redeem the pink-haired girl? How do you feel about Ayano being ruthless, savage, and someone that obviously just is very mean to the people she defeats? Be honest in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below, because for some reason, even if you click the subscribe button, you don't always get notified. So if you want to get notified, click that bell icon. And with that, Chibi out.